So to start with, right. So मिलकर करें आरटी को सार्थक. Now, obviously, the first question is, what does this competition envision? So this competition revolves around one section of the RT Act, which is section 12(1)(c). You can see it on the PPT. I'll just read it out for you. It says that an unaided school or a school belonging to a special category shall admit to class first or prior to that, as the case may be, to an extent of the 25% strength of that class, children belonging to weaker and disadvantaged group in the neighborhood, and provide free and compulsory education till its completion. Now, please note that elementary education here consists of students from the 1st to the 8th class. Now, before I elaborate more upon this section, I would like to clarify that most of the details that I will be giving to you right now will be Rajasthan centric. And the reason being very simple, we have been organizing it for that state. However, please keep in mind that the requirements for this procedure, they keep changing from state to state, and we will have to see how admission processes go in accordance with the rules of each state. So coming back to this section, the keywords here to be noted is weaker and disadvantaged group. So to put simply, a weaker group is someone whose family income is less than 2.5 lakh rupees. Now again, this threshold of 2.5 lakh rupees is applicable to Rajasthan. In some state, it may be different. In Uttar Pradesh, it may be lower, or in some state, it may be higher. So you will have to see which exact category qualifies as a weaker group. The second part is of a disadvantaged group. Now, these contain a lot of things. You have your scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, persons with disabilities, etc., etc. All of these will come under the domain of disadvantaged group. Now, basically, what the section wants to do is, in very simple words, is social integration and inclusive education. Now, we know that, what comes into play in our education system is a hierarchical access to education. If you paid attention, this section focuses on private schools. So what happens in our country is, if someone is from a well-off school, they will keep going to a private school. Private schools charge more, so they will provide you better education facilities. Someone who is not from that well of a family will go to a public school who do not invest that much in their education systems, and well, they won't get that level of education. So a hierarchy keeps on getting created. This section wants to end that. It wants to make education more inclusive, and that's why it reserves 1/4 of the seats for these children coming from economically or socially disadvantaged groups. So that's basically what the section envisions. However, the practical reality remains very grim. Like with most provisions in our country, it's an unfortunate truth. So if you'll see here, the disparity in 2013-14 was less, then it grows in 14-15, it grows further in 15-16, and well, 16-17 is a sad picture, really. So with this competition, what we wanted to do was, we wanted to bridge this gap. We wanted to do something, and that's why this competition was launched. Because yes, the section exists, but how do we make the best of it? A daily wage laborer who's working every day obviously doesn't have the time to keep filling forms, keep seeing every documentation is correct, and sometimes they will just give up on it. This is where we come in, right? Because we start acting as intermediaries here. Why do we need this? Obviously, why do we need this? So again, the admission process mostly is very technological in nature. All of these states mostly use websites. Now again, these people, they will not be very tech savvy or be very computer proficient and stuff. So that's where we come in. We fill the forms on their behalf. We try to do this part of work and take the burden from them, and we do it for ourselves. And that's how we work as an intermediary. Further, the thing is that most of these schools, they themselves don't take any initiative to fill these seats. They just try to fill it with general category students. They will give some very apathetic excuse why we can't fill these seats, and they will just move on with it. So we want to ensure that ye jo seats reserve hui hain, they go to the correct people. So for this, what we used to do in the previous editions, I'll just give an overview for context is, we used to go, hold a full orientation, and so many colleges from Jodhpur used to participate. People used to form teams. And then we used to go to the field. We used to, go to these areas where we knew that we'll find people in need of these provisions. We used to go from door to door asking everyone कि आपके यहाँ कोई है इस age limit में, आप किसी को ऐसे admission कराना है and stuff like that. That's how teams used to work very extensively and, get this admission process started. However, obviously, we are not living in any normal times and we would not be expecting you to do that. And that's why we cannot hold a competition this time, how we used to do it in the previous editions. But of course, we cannot just let go of this obligation. So what we're trying to do this time is, as committee members, each one of us on a personal level, we need to ensure that we at least get like 1 or 2 admissions done, on a personal basis. And it's not very tough because, come on, like all of us have house help at home, right? There will be, if you live in a society, there will be some other workers, there will be a guard or something or the other, and they always have either children or grandchildren or some relatives who will be in need of this. So all we need to do is we need to ask them, we need to reach out to these people, and we need to ask them and just identify if there are kids and then go through with the admission process. The onus now falls on us as a committee, and it's actually good because we are now all in our respective states. So earlier our competition was very Jodhpur centric. Naturally, we were in college, so we used to work from Jodhpur, but now we are in so many different states. We have so much diversity right now in our committee. So if we can all ensure on our individual basis that we get some children from these areas and we can help them. Like maybe someone from Jodhpur, we have so many people from Jodhpur, can still get in touch with the Baijis that used to work at our hostels. Like I remember, like personally speaking, I took part in this competition last year, and we had one Baiji whose grandchildren had to be enrolled. So obviously they always know people in their family who need to be enrolled. So you get the gist. That's how we identify people. That's how we can identify people this time instead of going out into the field and doing the whole lot of work, because it's obviously not very feasible. And we have done this and we have seen incredible results. Like just for information, in 2018, we got 107 admissions done, which is a big number. This tally went further high to 265 students in 2019. In 2020, we were still, despite COVID on the rise, able to submit more than 100 admission forms. And we really want to continue this legacy forward. So now let's start with how this process is going to go about. So this is the important part. I've talked about identification, how you can, find these people. We have talked about the weaker group, disadvantaged group thing. Now let's move on and see. This is an important part, that you have to see the age limit. Now, when they say that you have to get admitted in class first, again, please know that I'm speaking from a Rajasthan-centric perspective. This criteria might change in some other states, and we'll have to look through the rules. Each state publishes their rules. We'll have to look through their rules, but I'll be giving you a general perspective. So like Rajasthan rules say that at entry level, this admission means that a child has to be admitted in class first, and his or her age should be 5 years or greater than that, but less than 7 years. So this is an important criteria which has to be noted. Earlier, they used to have several categories, but now they've just chucked that. So we have to have from 5 to 7 years. So yeah, once you have determined weaker or disadvantaged group, you have checked their age limit. Now we move to the next step. The next step is we need to collect the requisite documents for any admission. So now an economically weaker section person will have to have their income certificate. A socially weaker section person will have to provide their caste certificate. And this others group falls for people with disability and everything. They also do have their individual certificates. So these need to be ready. Apart from this, there are some common documents which all of these people need to provide, which is a resident proof, a birth certificate, and an Aadhaar card. Now, ordinarily, an Aadhaar card can do the work of these two, and it's not exactly required. But what happens is that sometimes the name is misspelled, or the age is wrong, or something or the other. That's why it's encouraged to collect all three of these. However, if all the details in the Aadhaar card are correct, then you will be fine with it. And don't worry, you'll get a detailed list of this on all of these government sites and stuff. So this is a general overview what is required for. And you can see this is how a caste identity proof looks like. This is how an Aadhaar card copy receipt looks like. This is a birth certificate, so on and so forth. So you basically have to get these documents from these people and keep them ready, because these deadlines or timelines are very quick, very like concise. So we need to keep these documents ready कि ऐसे last day पे problem ना हो, or like the admission ऐसे फंसे ना, इसलिए we need to just keep these documents ready. And if at any point of time anybody feels ki we're not sure about this document or anything, the committee members are here to help you. You can send it our way. We will check them for you once. And just feel free to ask, but make sure that the documents are authentic and correct, and the details are correct and everything. So once we have the documents with us, now let's move on to the most important stage, which is the online submission of the form on school portals. Again, this PPT uses images from the Rajasthan portal, but the general process remains more or less same for every state. So when you'll open this RT website for Rajasthan, you'll have somewhere in this tab bar a thing called RTE के लिए निशुल्क सीटों पर something. So you click that, you click this option, then it'll take you to this window. Now, these are some general details which you have to enter. The purpose for this being, it will check the eligibility, कि eligible है या नहीं है apply करने के लिए. Once you do that, it gives you some login credentials which you have to keep safe at least till this process ends. Once you get those credentials, then you can go on to this information column. So obviously these are very general details which it requires, but please be very sure that whatever spelling you type here matches on their documents. Like suppose someone's name starts with a double A, you've written a double A here, you've written a single A here, they've written a double A there. So just very small things, but they will create a lot of problem later when the documents have to be submitted to the school, because they will just reject it and it's not their loss, it will be our loss. So just be very careful while you fill out these details. These are very general details. The asterisk ones have to be filled compulsorily, and I'm sure you all know the drill. So you do that, then it takes you to this page, which asks you to fill your district. So if you would have noticed in the 12(1)(c) section, it says that these admissions have to be done in neighborhood schools. So it needs to detect the schools which are, around the neighborhood of where the child is located. So, once you fill these, it will give you a list of schools. You can select, some schools where you want the admission and submit it. Now, what happens after you are done with this, then a week later or a few days later, whatever the timeline prescribes, comes out a list of schools, and lotteries as results are announced. So in this list, if you can see it on the PPT, there is a list of schools which will be like according to your preference, and there will be some numbers mentioned here. Now, what these numbers indicate is, if a number is very high, like this is some 73 or something, this indicates that the probability of the student getting admitted in that school is less. But if the number is smaller, like a number like 4, then the probability of getting into this school is higher. This is how this lottery system works. So what we do mostly is कि we choose these less number wale schools, this 1, 2, 4, etc. And we take these documents to try and take these documents to at least like 3, 4 of these schools and get it submitted there, because the probability of those getting admitted are very high. So you submit it and ensure the chances are not bleak. Now, once this is done, we finally come to our last step, where we have to approach the schools after the online procedure is complete for the submission of these documents. And once you've completed the documents, the formalities are done, you have to make sure that the school gives you this reporting prapatra. It will look something like this. Now, this is very important to obtain, because so that the schools can't say later कि हमने तो admission नहीं करा or something like that. So you need to obtain it from them. Technically, they are supposed to give it to you. If they don't give it to you, ask for it and obtain this and make sure that this it's with you, and it's carried on to the guardians later. So yes, this is the process of this not competition this time, of this event in a nutshell. Now, I know you guys might be a little confused, but yes, different states do have different rules, but more or less they will remain the same. And we're not leaving you high and dry. So the committee members have been trying to put together documents and timelines for different states, and they are being compiled and will be sent across to you soon enough. Nevertheless, for a general overview, the process is actually already open in states like UP, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan even, and it will open anytime in the near future in Bihar. In Karnataka, unfortunately, the applications have already been closed. So, we need to get to work as soon as possible, as the process is already going on in full flow. So, yes, we need to keep this in mind. And when you guys go around and ask someone, obviously, we will not expect you to go to the field and work, but by chance, if somebody does or someone wants to, then yeah, we would encourage you to take a few pictures for our social media if you actually go ahead and do that. And yeah, that's about it. Just a couple of things I would like to say before I end this. Like I've said this before, but really the onus of this does fall on us. This is something which we do every year. This is something which is very important for us. So I would really request you guys कि एक दो बच्चों का भी admission हो सकता है on your part. That's more than enough. It will go a very long way. So please try on your individual part to do that. And the most important thing is your obligation doesn't end here. We as a committee have always encouraged participants to stay in touch with these children, because a lot of time they don't feel like they fit in, or a lot of things happen and sometimes these kids drop out very soon. So we don't want that to happen. So we always encourage people to stay in touch with these children, so they actually complete their education and the purpose gets served. So yeah, that's what we'll encourage you guys to do too. And yes, that's about it. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. I'll try to answer it.
I have a question, Dee.
Yeah.
Right. So, like you mentioned, the latter part, that it's very important to see what their progress is and whether they've in fact stayed in school or they have dropped out or not. Have you, by any chance, created any progress reports for the children that have already through our competition, perhaps already gotten their admissions and seeing where they are now or how they're coping up with their studies or something of that sort?
As far as I know, we don't have a report as such, but yes, our part. So again, like what we used to do is we used to take these people from different colleges, right? So these were the people who used to get these kids admitted. So we have made sure that they stay in touch with these people. And that's what we keep encouraging everyone to do, stay in touch. I'm not sure. I don't think we have a progress report as such.
So adding on to Ananya's answer, what I think 2 years, I think 1 year back or so, I don't remember the year, but we did undertake a review of the process. Just a second.
Okay, so Namrata, is it fine if I answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, sure, you can go ahead.
Okay, हाँ. So फातिमा, जैसे अनन्या ने बताया ना कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल व्हाट वी डिड पहले इन द कंपटीशन कि हमने डिटेल्स मांगी थी, ठीक है. तो वी हैव द डिटेल्स ऑफ ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट्स हु हैड पार्टिसिपेटेड इन द कंपटीशन इन द पास्ट, ठीक है. सो आफ्टर द फर्स्ट कंपटीशन, जो हमारा पहला पार्ट था कंपटीशन का, वी ट्राई टू कॉन्टेक्ट दीज पार्टिसिपेंट्स एंड लाइक वी try to know ki what these children are doing right now. Are they still in school or they are not? So like we haven't prepared a formal report, but yes, we try to ensure that these participants are still in touch with these kids.
Yeah, and the major problem in this process is generally that the numbers that we have of the parents of the participants are not active anymore. So that because the contact details are not very updated, so it's very difficult to go back and contact the kids. But the people who we could approach, some of it was a mixed response. Some of them were okay with the idea. They were like, yes, our kids are going to school and everything is in place. Some of them we got response that the school was far away, so they couldn't send the kid to the school in the first place. There were also instances where the parents reported that how there was a different treatment being meted out to our kids, and there was subsequently a dropout. So it was a mixed response.
That's so just a follow-up question. So, like Namrata, they also mentioned that there is often a treatment that's given that's not particularly fair, and they are treated a little differently in certain institutions. With the case of online school, because they'll require certain perhaps access to technology and things like that that they might not have in the first place. What can we do about that? Because like right now they'll all be having online school going on, and most private schools they require you to have laptops to give your exams, they have proctored exams and things like that. And whatever teaching materials also being sent, you require to have a laptop or some kind of tablet or something of that sort to work around that system. So what do we essentially do in that aspect to provide them with those devices?
If I can I answer that question? Okay. So we haven't done anything so far in this field, primarily because it's a new problem. In the last edition of COVID was, came after the admission process and midway during the RT process, and it was so new, and we didn't know if it was temporary or was a permanent situation like it has turned out to be. But right now we can come up with a other project or something for digital access to resources. We don't have anything in place to target that need of the kids.
Right, thank you.
And I think this issue was discussed earlier, I think last year. So Delhi High Court made some provision that all the kids who belong to a particular section are to be provided by these digital equipments by the private schools, which will be subsequently reimbursed by by the government of Delhi. I don't think something like that exists in Rajasthan. So we did some basic research. I don't think it turned out in something fruitful, but we can take it up next semester or something like that.
Dee,
Huh.
Yep.
like what is the income criteria for telling them as weaker or disadvantaged, and is it same for all the states or is it different?
Yeah, so it's not the same for all the states. Like I mentioned, I know according to the latest Rajasthan rules, it's 2.5 lakhs. In UP, I think it's 1 lakh. In Karnataka, I think it was higher than 2.5 lakhs. So it differs from each state, but each state does take out a rule book and they will have the criteria mentioned. And don't worry, we'll send you the document with everything compiled where you can find it in one go. So yeah, but it does differ from state to state.
Adding on to Ananya's answer, so Ashish, there would be two categories. One would be people from general category. Only for those people you need an income certificate. For people who fall in the disadvantaged group, which can be people from say ST, SC, or war widows, kids for war widows, or AIDS and cancer is also a category. So if you have a certificate to prove that the kid fall in any of these categories, then you don't need income certificate. So if the kid is from ST or SC, you don't need an income certificate at all.
And how do we get these certificates apart from SC/ST, like these poor widows or aid or cancer disadvantaged people who fall in these groups? So how do we get certificates for that? Because I don't think they have it already.
No, so for instance, in war widows, so government has multiple legislations for benefit of these, these disadvantaged groups. So there is generally a certificate to show that you are a war widow, so that you can take advantage of these government legislations. Or if you're from cancer or AIDS, you might not have a certificate per se, but there would be medical reports which you can produce, right? So you can ask those people to send these things.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yeah, and if the child is orphan, then orphanage certificate also works. Any other questions?
I had a question. Ashish, do you have a question?
Yeah, you can go first. I will put second.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, I was just checking the timeline for the Karnataka RT thing, and the application, the date, the timeline got over yesterday. So, what do I do for that? Like, can I collaborate with someone else and help them fill up online forms of other states? Can I do that instead of this?
You can definitely, Ananya, do you want to answer? I think you're on mute. Okay.
I was just saying, yeah, sure, why not? Like all the helping hands we can gather. I was just looking through Karnataka too. Yeah, I got over, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think
I,
there is no. Yes, Jayam, were you saying something?
no, I think I was saying that perhaps it has been extended. I will check it once more, but I think it has been extended.
हाँ देयर इज़ अ पॉसिबिलिटी कि डेट एक्सटेंड हो गई हो, क्योंकि मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम ये होता है कि हर स्टेट्स में कुछ टाइम के लिए एक्सटेंड होती है. हाँ तो जयम प्लीज़ चेक एक बार.
Yeah, so Jayam will check the dates. But with respect to your question, if you can work for for different states, you definitely can. And anyway, the idea is not that you can only work in your state. Anyway, the process is going to be online. You will approach people over telephone. You will ask them to send documents via WhatsApp or some other medium. So it's not that you have to go and ask people around. When we say state-wise, is because you would want to help people, like for example, your house servants or people who know, who are in your neighborhood. You think that they can be helped out. That was the idea, that at least we know what the procedure is in different states. But there is no problem with working for different states, especially now that Ananya was presenting for Rajasthan, and our project so far has also been centered around Rajasthan. The idea is first to contact every support staff in LLU Jodhpur, ask them, explain them the procedure, tell them about RT, and see if they are interested, if they have people who can benefit from the legislation. There is high probability that they would already know, because we have been working in this field and we do go and talk to them every time. So I've asked Himanshi to collect numbers of all the support staff, BIGs, and all the people who work in NLU Jodhpur. So because they do approach us. So one of the person approached Anjali ma'am yesterday asking that they want admission through RT. So our first priority is to first ensure that they have admission, because Rajasthan, we know how to operate Rajasthan website. And second, we are more thorough with the rules of Rajasthan RT. We are in contact with RT officers so they can help us out in case there is any problem. So there is no bar with working for one state.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Any other question? You had a question, Ashish, I think.
Yeah. So the admission starts from first class only, or is it according to age? Like if the child is of 12 years and he hasn't had any education first, will he get admitted into first or according to his age?
Okay, so first of all, age bar is only from 5 to 7. Only 5 to 7 is the category who can get admitted. Second, rules, at least for Rajasthan, rules have changed last year, and the admissions can only take place in first class, not before first class or after first class. So that's a problem. So even if the child is already in second or third class, if you wanted admission through RT, the kid will have to restart the education from first class. So that's a problem, but that's what the rules say.
Is this for Rajasthan only or entire India?
See, I'm not sure. I'm assuming that the age would differ from state to state, but this is Rajasthan only.
What was your question, Ashish? Can you please repeat it again?
Yeah, I was asking that whether the admission starts only from first class or can it can be according to age, like in class second or third directly.
So Ashish, this problem started last year only. तो पहले क्या था कि देयर वाज दिस क्राइटेरिया इन राजस्थान ओनली कि फर्स्ट से पहले भी एडमिशन्स होते थे, ठीक है, प्री प्राइमरी क्लासेस में, प्री प्राइमरी 3+, प्री प्राइमरी 4+, प्री प्राइमरी 5+, ठीक है. बट लास्ट ईयर इन लोगों ने चेंज किया हुआ है रूल में, और इन्होंने बोला है कि अब एडमिशन जो है ना वो केवल फर्स्ट क्लास में है. सो दिस इज ओनली रेस्ट्रिक्टेड टू राजस्थान ओनली, ये जो रूल है. बाकी स्टेट्स में अगेन अलग अलग है. ये अभी के लिए फर्स्ट क्लास से एडमिशन केवल राजस्थान में हो रहा है, बाकी स्टेट्स में बाकी काफ़ी सारे स्टेट्स हैं जहाँ पे प्री प्राइमरी क्लासेस में भी एडमिशन्स हो रहे हैं, और जो एज क्राइटेरिया है दैट इज़ फ्रॉम 5 to 7 ओनली.
Thank you, Dee. Got it.
Anyone else? Any other questions? So, okay, I guess that's it.
Okay, so sorry. Before we end this meeting, I'll just introduce everyone to the volunteer program so that we all know what we're going to be doing. So recently, we all thought that maybe it will be better, at least for the RT, if we have some volunteers working for us, along with the committee members, of course. So if we can have members from more people from different states or from Rajasthan who can also fill out documents, so it will help us first to secure maximum admissions. Second, even if we plan on to take something bigger projects, for instance, we are working on Unnati, right? So I think Fatima and Atharv, these people are working on making a proposal of how to put the projector to use in future. So if that means in future we will have to take classes on regular basis for different topics. So it will be better if we have a volunteer base. So for that we have taken approval from the university and we have it. We'll soon be releasing call for volunteers. You guys can reach out to your friends and ask them to volunteer for LAEC.
Excuse me, exactly what the volunteering are we talking about? Teaching those kids?
No, it's not restricted to teaching. It will first be focused on first RT admissions. The same work that you guys will be doing, that is approaching people, getting documents, and then filling out application forms. Second, it's going to be 3 months. We will send out the details very soon, but I just wanted to introduce the idea to all the committee members. So the idea is that you will not be working on the RT admissions all alone. There would be people working with you. And this will not be restricted to NLU Jodhpur. So you will have people from different universities working on this.
Yes, that's what I wanted to ask. Can we ask our friends not from NLU Jodhpur to help us out in this, because these are only online procedures mostly?
Yeah, not just NLU Jodhpur, it's also not restricted to NLU. So if people are in some medical college or IITs or basically the idea is it's not restricted to NLUs, because social work is not something that only law students have a monopoly over. So
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, Ananya, you can continue.
Yeah, nothing. I think that's it. Like, if that's all from my side, at least.
All right. In case you guys have any question with respect to procedure or anything, you can approach Ananya or any one of us. Yeah, I think that's it. Pallaviti, Jayesh, do we have anything else to discuss?
नहीं, बस इतना ही. कुछ भी हो तो प्लीज़ हम लोगों को एक बार बताना. We'll try to help you out. बस.
Cool. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.